Hey everyone, it's me, Dr. Steve, and I've got a special invitation for you if you'll be in Las Vegas for the Bitcoin conference. Now, I'm hosting an exclusive welcome dinner there on May 27th called the Golden Age Gathering. It'll be an incredible night with courageous conversation and a live Q&A session. You even get a signed copy of my best-selling book over here. Best part, if you're a Courageous Patriots Club member at the gold level, your ticket's already free. Space is super limited, so head on over to goldenagesummit.net/viva-liberty, or just click on the link below and reserve your seat today. I'll see you there.
It is illegal, it is unwise, and it is very damaging. Why does it make any sense at all to stop 6,000 enormously talented young people who want to come to the United States to study? If the Trump administration has an objection to something Harvard is doing with respect to foreign students, let it pursue the specifics of that objection through the processes of law. But simply throwing 6,000 students out and denying the many thousands of students abroad who have dreamed of coming to study at Harvard that opportunity because they're angry about a fight on other issues, that is not the way we do things in a democratic country like the United States.
Oh, hey, are we out of power? Oh, should I call you Wambliance? That's the former president of Harvard whining about the Trump administration cracking down on the woke Ivy Leagues, and in this case, banning foreign students from Harvard. The Department of Homeland Security, led by Secretary Kristi Noem, has just announced that they have terminated Harvard University's ability to enroll international students entirely by revoking their student and exchange visitor program certification. Talk about playing hardball here. Now, this decision follows accusations that Harvard failed to comply with federal requests for information on their international students, as well as fostering what the Trump administration is calling an unsafe campus environment marked by violence, anti-Semitism, and alleged collaboration with the Chinese Communist Party. This is amazing stuff here. Basically, the background to all of this is that the DHS demanded Harvard provide detailed behavioral and disciplinary records of foreign students, right? Students from abroad studying at Harvard. The DHS wanted footage of protest activity. They wanted records of any illegal, dangerous, or violent actions by student visa holders over the past 5 years. And we all know why, right? Because they're going to obviously yank them, right? This is all part of both Homeland Security and Marco Rubio's State Department's efforts at rooting out foreign students who have come to our country specifically to whip up cultural Marxist unrest. That freak that you just saw there lecturing us about democracy has been a co-participant in, particularly through leading and participating in campus protests. He has allowed that. He has sat back and allowed cultural Marxism to infest his campus. Harvard's administration has, of course, been repeatedly resistant in providing those details. That is what Homeland Security has told us. They are, in effect, shielding their foreign students from any federal scrutiny by the Trump government. And I guess it would be something akin to creating a sanctuary campus, as it were. And so the Trump administration just turned around and said, okay, you don't want to comply? No problem. No problem at all. And then they just pulled the rug out from under them and said, we're yanking your certification for accepting foreign students entirely. So either all foreign students transfer to another university as of immediately for the 25-26 semester, or you'll have to leave the country. They'll have to leave the country. It's that simple. You don't want to comply with us? No problem whatsoever. Then we will shut down your entire foreign student operation. It's called political hardball, gang. That's brass knuckles politics at its finest. And as you can see, it caught Harvard completely off guard. But first, I did want to share with you one of my favorite news resources that I use every day, and that's Ground News. Now, these days, it's harder than ever to tell the difference between facts and opinions. Algorithms push us into echo chambers, and both sides of the political spectrum have their blind spots. Now, a lot of the time, we're only getting part of the story, or we're missing it entirely. So that's why I use Ground News. Ground News pulls together stories from over 50,000 news sources around the world. You heard that right, 50,000. But what makes it stand out is this. It doesn't just give you the headlines. It shows you the political bias behind each story. So you're not just reading the news, you're actually understanding it. So that's why more than 1 million people have downloaded the Ground News app. See for yourself at ground.news/Steve. One of my favorite features is the blind spot feed. It shows you stories that are getting a lot of coverage from one side of the political spectrum, but barely any from the other. It's a great way to spot the narratives that usually slip through the cracks. So, for example, here's a story ignored on the left. Trump just signed an executive order to boost domestic drug manufacturing, a major move to strengthen the U.S. supply chain. With talk of pharmaceutical tariffs ramping up, it's a huge economic and political story, yet most left-leaning media has barely touched it. Or here's one the right was mostly ignoring. Trump recently questioned whether the constitutional right to due process applies in certain immigration cases. It's not a small question. It goes right to the heart of our legal system. But if you're only watching right-leaning outlets, you might have never heard about it. With every story, Ground News shows you exactly who's covering it, where the outlets fall politically, how reliably the reporting has been, and even who owns them. It's transparency you're not going to get anywhere else. Right now, you can get 40% off the Vantage plan. It's the premium version I use myself. Just head to ground.news/Steve, click the link in the description, or scan the QR code. That's ground.news/Steve. And now, of course, Harvard is suing. They're doing everything they can to prevent the administration from revoking their certification for foreign students. But many analysts are arguing the damage is already done. They don't even need to. They don't need to revoke Harvard's foreign student certification for the damage to be done. Again, this is what so many on the left don't get. With the whole proverbial maxim, right? F around and find out. When you've been locked out of political power, like the Democrats have been, and if the administration decides, the current administration decides to use power the way the Trump administration is using it, they can crush you. There is no reason to pick a fight with this administration precisely because they can crush you. And as Kristi Noem's letter to Harvard just pointed out, they will crush you. And how will they crush you? They'll crush you with a simple order just like this, like they're getting from Homeland Security right now. And how do they crush them? Even if Harvard were eventually, over the next couple of years, successful in court to revoke this revocation of their certification to receive foreign students, even if they were successful in the next couple of years, in the meantime, do you think any foreign students are going to enroll in Harvard? Do you think any foreign students who are already there are going to wait around to find out? So foreign students are already transferring. You see, it's too late. All you needed to do was issue this kind of injunction here. This revocation, that's all you needed. That's all you needed to do was to hear that the Trump administration was putting a bullseye on Harvard and basically getting a micro sense of every single foreign student, where they're from, their activity. That's all they needed word for. They're out of there. Foreign students are already transferring. They're already refraining from applying in the first place. The order itself was enough. This is F around and find out. Whether it's actually ultimately enforced is irrelevant. This is the power of the presidency in the hands of the one and only Donald J. Trump. And again, like I said at the very beginning, the political left is not used to this. I think this is one of the reasons why the left is reacting so hysterically, is because they are not, we've had an entire generation of leftists who have never been in the position of being the objects of a kind of, we would argue, very righteous political persecution. They've never been the objects of it. They've always been the persecutors. They've always been the ones in power. They're not used to being the objects of political pressure. They've always, at least since FDR, in one shape or form, they have always been in political power. I've always said Democrats own DC, the Republicans merely rent. The deep state is a Democrat apparatus, and it keeps the city operating through Democrat norms. But even in the wider nation since the 1960s, the Democrats have been in the position of cultural leadership. This is what cultural Marxism is all about. Assume the positions of power in all the various cultural levers of power: academia, economics, art, entertainment, and the like. And as long as you assume the positions of power in the nation's cultural institutions, you will be in power forever, period. End of discussion. Now they're finding out that there is a new breed of Republican, the MAGA Republican, who is prepared to use the power of the executive branch, which is massive, for the purpose of dismantling that cultural Marxist power apparatus. And that's exactly what Trump is doing to Harvard right now. Again, the proverbial maxim here that was made famous in the Oval Office, right, with Zelensky, and I would say most recently this week with Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, is that you got no cards, Harvard. You got no cards. The Trump administration has all the political and economic leverage needed to crush you. And if Harvard's smart, they'll cooperate. If not, Trump is just going to continue to ratchet up the pressure to force Harvard and all other Ivy Leagues to heel. And this is so important in terms of destroying the epicenter of wokeness. Wokeness comes primarily through the universities. That's where wokeness first appeared. That's how it originally came to our country. It's a foreign invader. I don't know if you know that, but wokeness is a foreign invader. It came via the Frankfurt School, a group of cultural Marxist academics in Europe, and their immigration to the United States from Europe during World War II. They came to Columbia University. That's why we're always whenever there's campus unrest, it always involves Columbia at its heart, because that's where the Frankfurt School originally came. And from there, they spread their poison, their cultural Marxist, cultural socialist ideas all throughout the university system that despises Western culture, that teaches students to hate and to revile Western culture, to reevaluate the whole of reality by virtue of a binary of oppressor versus oppressed, and that it is right and good to embrace a coalition of the aggrieved that would together destroy this evil Western civilization that was built on the backs of slaves. The universities are collectively the queen bee of that ideological filth. And Trump is crushing the queen bee's nest as we speak. And if he's successful in doing that, then perhaps finally we will be rid of one of the most wicked and anti-Western ideologies ever to infest our nation.